In many of the world's fastest-growing cities, the most essential transport system isn't planned, funded, or even mapped. It just works. From the buzzing matatus of Nairobi to the nimble tuk-tuks in Cairo, these vehicles form a vast informal network that keeps cities moving where official systems fall short. This is the world of paratransit, spontaneous, adaptable, and indispensable. Today I dive into how it works, why it matters, and what it tells us about urban life in the global south. At its core, paratransit refers to informal or semi-formal public transport services that operates outside government-subsidized planned systems. Unlike traditional buses, metros, or trains, paratransit services are usually private-owned and operated, flexible in routes and schedules, low-cost and high-frequency, and often not fully regulated by state transport agencies. Common paratransit vehicles include minibuses, shared taxis, tuk-tuks, boda-bodas or motorcycle taxis, and even converted trucks. These vehicles often run on a cash basis, operate when profitable, and adapt routes based on passenger demand. Paratransit has roots in the post-colonial urbanization boom of the 20th century. As cities in Africa, Asia, and Latin America grew rapidly, governments were often too underfunded or overwhelmed to build full-scale public transport systems. Into this gap stepped private entrepreneurs, offering mobility that was fast, cheap, and decentralized. The 1970s and 80s saw paratransit explode across sub-Saharan Africa, Southeast Asia, and parts of Latin America. Today, it still dominates the daily commute in many developing countries. According to the World Bank, paratransit accounts for up to 80% of public transport trips in some African cities. But paratransit isn't just for the global south. Even cities like New York and San Francisco offer dial-a-ride or microtransit services that are technically paratransit under broader definitions. Paratransit has some benefits. Firstly, it has high accessibility. Paratransit thrives in neighborhoods that formal transport ignores peri-urban areas, informal settlements, and city fringes. In Nairobi, matatus reach areas that city's bus system doesn't serve. In Cairo, tuk-tuks dominate in dense or low-income areas where standard buses can't maneuver. 2. Flexibility and frequency. With no fixed timetables, vehicles leave when full. This creates short wait times during peak hours and matches supply to demand organically. In Nairobi, matatus serve over 70% of city's 4.5 million daily commuters, offering over 130 distinct routes. 3. Economic empowerment. Paratransit systems generate millions of jobs, from drivers to conductors to informal mechanics and fuel vendors. In cities with high unemployment, this is a vital informal economy. 4. Low capital requirements. Paratransit needs little or no public subsidy. Operators buy and maintain their own vehicles, using second-hand imports or local conversions. 5. Cultural relevance. Vehicles often reflect local identities. In Nairobi, matatus are pimped with neon lights, murals of hip-hop artists, and loud music systems. They are mobile expression of young culture and street art. Cairo, a city of over 20 million, is infamous for its congestion and overburdened public transport. The tuk-tuk emerged in the early 2000s as a hyper-local solution. Tuk-tuks are three-wheeled motorized vehicles, cheap, agile, and able to navigate Cairo's narrow, often unpaved street. By 2020, Egypt had an estimated 3 million tuk-tuks, with Cairo and Giza being major hubs. The upside: tuk-tuks provide door-to-door transport in areas ignored by formal services. The downside is that they are largely unregulated, operate without license or insurance, and are often blamed for chaotic traffic and unsafe driving. In Nairobi, the matatu system is the city's main mode of public transport. These 14 to 25-seater minibuses are run by private owners but loosely regulated by SACCOs, or savings and credit cooperation organizations. A formal-informal syndicate that manages routes, fares, and operations. There are over 20,000 matatus operating in Kenya, with about 10,000 in Nairobi alone. They move people across a network of unmarked stops, often dedicated by demand rather than maps. Fares range from 20 to 100 Kenyan shillings, or about 15 to 70 US dollar cents, depending on distance and time of day. Routes may shift during rain, traffic, or even political protests. There is no timetable, but there is always a matatu coming. Matatus are famous for loud music and flashing lights, reckless driving, bribery to traffic police, and aggressive touting for passengers. Yet they are incredibly efficient in high-density, low-income areas where no formal buses operate. But paratransit has also a bad side. First, safety concerns. Due to loose regulation, accidents are frequent. Poor vehicle maintenance, lack of insurance, and reckless driving are common issues. In Kenya, road accidents involving matatus account for 33% of all public transport facilities in 2022. 2. Traffic and pollution. With small vehicles and high fleet turnover, paratransit contributes significantly to urban congestion and emissions, especially in cities with poor traffic management. 3. Lack of integration. Paratransit is usually not connected to other modes. There are no transfer solutions, integrated tickets, or consistent information systems. This makes multimodal travel inefficient and difficult to plan. 4. Passenger exploitation. Fares can be arbitrary, especially during peak hours or bad weather. Some drivers may overload vehicles, skip stops, and harass passengers, especially women. 5. Urban planning conflicts. Informal stops and unregulated terminals disrupt pedestrian zones and formal infrastructure. City planners often view paratransit as a nuisance rather than stakeholder. Despite its issues, paratransit persists because formal systems are too expensive to build and maintain, too slow to expand to meet population growth, and politically risky when removing informal jobs or evicting unlicensed operators. For many cities, paratransit isn't a problem to eliminate, but a system to reform and integrate. Many urban debates frame public transport as formal or good and paratransit as informal or bad. But reality is more nuanced. In practice, the two often coexist. Buses and trains handle long-distance, high-volume routes. Paratransit handles first-mile and last-mile service, or areas too small or low density for big investments. Think of paratransit as the connective tissue of urban mobility in developing countries. Rather than suppress paratransit, planners are now asking, how do we upgrade it without destroying it? However, there are some solutions. First, route mapping and digital tools. Projects like Digital Matatus in Nairobi use GPS and open data to map routes, enabling the development of apps of real-time passenger info. Similar projects have emerged in Accra, Manila, and Cairo. 2. Formalizing through cooperatives. SACCOs in Kenya or unions in the Philippines give structure to the informal sector. Governments can set standards via these groups on safety, training, and fare caps without direct state control. 3. Infrastructure that includes paratransit. Instead of exclusive BRT systems, cities are now designing intermodal terminals where minibuses, tuk-tuks, and formal buses converge. 4. Electrification and emission standards. In Kigali and Nairobi, pilot programs are testing electric minibuses and tuk-tuks, reducing air pollution while maintaining job structures. 5. Regulation with incentives. Rather than banning tuk-tuks or matatus, cities are offering financial incentives for fleet upgrades, driver training, or route adherence. As cities urbanize, paratransit is at crossroads. Either it becomes a partner in integrated transport ecosystems or remains a fragmented, chaotic fallback. Urban planners must recognize that paratransit is not temporary. It's a long-term component of urban mobility in the global south. Done right, it can reduce inequality by increasing access, boost local economies, and complement large-scale investment in BRT, metro, and cycling infrastructure. But that requires new thinking, not old models. Paratransit may not appear in glossy urban master plans, but it moves hundreds of millions of people every day. It represents the creativity, resilience, and hustle of cities that are constantly reinventing themselves. From Cairo's buzzing tuk-tuks to Nairobi's graffiti-covered matatus, paratransit is about surviving, adapting, and thriving in cities that are anything but predictable.